We are told that adults who cry easily are too emotional, that they haven't learned control. But what if that assessment is not just wrong, but backwards? Across cultures, the adult who cries during arguments, or while watching films, or seemingly out of nowhere, is treated as fragile, unstable, someone who needs to toughen up. The crying itself becomes evidence of weakness, and the person doing it often agrees. They apologize, they hide, they feel ashamed that their body betrays them in moments when composure is expected. From the outside, it looks simple, an overreaction, a failure of emotional regulation, something that could be fixed with enough discipline or maturity. But psychology tells a very different story. To most people, frequent crying appears emotional, dramatic, a sign that someone feels too much. But what actually precedes tears is not emotion at all. It is physiological threshold. The nervous system reaching a point where it can no longer suppress what it has been managing, often for hours, days, or years. What looks like an emotional breakdown is often the body's refusal to continue performing calm. The person who cries easily is not reacting to the moment. They are reacting to everything the moment represents, everything it resembles, everything it has reactivated. The tears are not the beginning, they are the discharge. Psychologically, this pattern does not behave like fragility. It behaves like permeability. The nervous system is not collapsing. It is responding, often hyper-responding, tuned to detect emotional shifts, tonal changes, relational danger, and psychological meaning that others miss entirely. Research shows that people who cry more frequently often have lower thresholds for autonomic arousal. Their bodies reach the point of needing release faster, not because something is malfunctioning, but because they are processing more, feeling more, holding more. And here is what most people misunderstand. The crying is the solution the body has found. This is not a disorder. It is a response pattern, one that has been mislabeled for so long that even the person experiencing it believes the label. Western culture treats emotional expression as a private matter, something to be managed behind closed doors. Crying in public, crying at work, crying during conflict. These are seen as failures of composure, evidence that someone has lost control. The shame attached to tears is not natural. It is taught, and it is reinforced every time someone is told to stop. Every time tears are treated as an imposition, every time the body's need to discharge is framed as a personal failing. But the body does not care about social performance. It cares about regulation. The difference between someone who cries easily and someone who does not is not emotional capacity. It is not maturity. It is often a difference in what the nervous system learned was safe. Some people learned early that emotional expression was dangerous, that tears brought punishment, dismissal, or abandonment. So their bodies adapted. They built walls. They developed mechanisms to shut down arousal before it reached the surface. Others learned something different. They learned that suppression was more dangerous than expression, that holding everything in created something worse than the temporary discomfort of tears. Their bodies chose a different adaptation, one that prioritizes release over containment. Neither is better. Neither is healthier by default. But one is far more visible. And visibility, in emotional terms, is almost always punished. If you cry easily, you have likely spent years trying to understand why. Why a conversation that seems normal to others leaves you in tears. Why a film scene everyone else laughs through makes your throat tighten. Why you can be fine all day and then, at night, alone, the tears come without warning or reason. You have probably been told you are too sensitive, that you take things too personally, that you need thicker skin, and you have likely believed it. You have tried to stop, to breathe through it, to excuse yourself before anyone notices, to time your emotions for when you are alone. You have apologized for crying more times than you can count. What you experience personally is part of a larger pattern. Tears are a form of regulation. When the nervous system becomes overwhelmed, crying lowers physiological stress and restores balance. It returns the body to a state where it can function again. The person who cannot cry is not stronger. They are often more defended, more numb, more disconnected from the signals their body is sending. The person who cries easily is more in contact with what is actually happening inside them. And that contact comes at a cost. Because when you cry easily, you cannot hide. Not from others, and not from yourself. You cannot pretend you are unaffected when your body is actively showing otherwise. You cannot maintain the illusion of control when tears arrive unbidden. You cannot perform indifference. You cannot lie about what something meant to you. This is what makes frequent crying so socially punished. Not because it is dysfunctional, but because it is honest. And honesty, especially emotional honesty, is deeply uncomfortable for others to witness. There is another layer to this that rarely gets discussed. The people who cry easily are often the same people who absorb the emotional states of those around them, who feel the shift in a room before anyone speaks, who know something is wrong before they are told. This is not mystical, it is perceptual. The same nervous system that produces tears quickly is also the one scanning for threat, for disconnection, for emotional incongruence. It is exhausting, because you are not just managing your own emotional state, you are constantly aware of everyone else's. You notice the micro-expression that signals irritation, the slight change in tone that others miss, the moment someone withdraws, even if they are still physically present, and your body responds to all of it, not because you choose to, but because it has been trained to. Most people who cry easily were children who learned early that their emotions were too much, that their reactions were disproportionate, that their sensitivity was a burden to the people around them. They were told to calm down, to stop overreacting, to toughen up, and they tried. But the body does not stop feeling because you tell it to. It only stops showing, for a while. What happens instead is accumulation. The emotions that are not allowed expression do not disappear. They compress, they layer, they wait. And then, years later, something small, a tone of voice, a moment of perceived rejection, a scene in a film, becomes the entry point for everything beneath it. The tears are not about the moment, they are about every moment like it. This is why people who cry easily often cannot explain why they are crying. Because the trigger is not the cause. The cause is historical, relational, structural. It is not that you are overreacting to the present. It is that the present has accessed something unresolved from the past. And your body, finally, is letting it out. There is a specific kind of isolation that comes with crying easily. Because even when people are kind about it, even when they say it's okay, you know you have made them uncomfortable. You have disrupted the social script. You have introduced something raw into a space that was supposed to remain controlled. And so you learn to manage other people's discomfort with your tears, almost as much as you manage the tears themselves. You apologize. You minimize. You say it's nothing. You laugh it off. You do whatever is necessary to release them from the awkwardness of witnessing your emotion. This becomes its own burden, because now you are not just crying. You are performing reassurance while crying. You are comforting others while your own system is trying to regulate. And it costs you twice. The cultural narrative around tears is gendered in ways that complicate this further. Women who cry easily are dismissed as hysterical or manipulative. Men who cry easily are seen as weak or unstable. Neither is accurate. But both are powerful enough to shape how people relate to their own tears. Both messages carry the same underlying assumption, that tears are a choice, a performance, something you could stop if you really wanted to. But you cannot choose when your nervous system reaches threshold. You can only choose what you do afterward. And most of the time, what you do is apologize. The nervous system of someone who cries easily is not broken. It is responsive. It has remained responsive in a world that rewards shutting down. The tears are not weakness. They are the body's insistence on release when others have learned to suppress. They are the refusal to numb into the performance of fine. What makes this particularly difficult is that the people around you often do not understand that crying is not a request for help. It is not a signal that something needs to be fixed. It is not an invitation for advice or reassurance. It is just the body doing what it needs to do. But most people cannot tolerate witnessing emotion without trying to stop it. They offer solutions. They change the subject. They tell you it will be okay. Not because you need to hear it, but because they need the crying to stop. And so you learn to cry alone. Not because you want to, but because it is easier than managing everyone else's reaction to it. The tears will keep coming. Not because something is wrong, but because your body knows what it needs, and it has not stopped asking for it. The tears are not asking for permission. They are doing what your body learned to do long before words were allowed. If this resonated with you, leave a comment below. Share what you've experienced, what you've been told, what you've never been able to explain until now. And if you found this helpful, share it with someone who needs to hear it.